Welcome to the Empowered Soccer Society, where we believe in working smarter, not harder, so you have more time and energy for the things that truly matter. Each week, we share a powerful strategy with a new guest expert to help you achieve more with less effort. If you want to get these weekly tips, subscribe to the channel, follow the podcast, and be sure to sign up for our weekly email newsletter. Everything is linked below. Let's get into this week's tip.
Hey there, I'm Prisca, a money coach, and I help busy professional women take control of their money so they could spend with confidence without feeling like they have to give up everything they love. Now, let me be honest with you. Back in the day, I was not stressed about money. I wasn't panicked about bills, but I also was not intentional at all with my spending. And I made good money as a nurse, but I spent it as fast as I made it with no real plan. And you know what? It felt fine. Until I realized I had nothing to show for the hard work I was putting in. So that's when I decided that I wanted more for myself. More security, more freedom, more options. So I started budgeting, not as a way to limit myself, but as a way to make sure my money was actually working for me. So that's what today's talk is about. How to build good money habits without feeling restricted. Because a budget shouldn't feel like punishment. It should feel like a tool that helps you create the life you want. You know, most people hear the word budget and immediately think of restriction. You might be one of those people. Like it's some kind of financial diet where you can't have fun or enjoy your money. But that's not how I see it at all. A budget is simply a plan for your money, and you get to design it in a way that actually fits you and your life. So that's my slacker hack of the week. How to build good money habits with a budget without feeling restricted. This is by building a budget that works for you instead of one that feels like a chore. See, the biggest mistake I see people making is thinking that a budget has to look a specific way. They try to fit into a rigid system that just doesn't match their lifestyle, and when it feels too restrictive, they give up. But here's the thing. You can call this whatever you want. You want to call it a money plan, a freedom plan, a spending plan. It doesn't matter. What matters is that it helps you stay in control of your money while still enjoying your life. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you today. How to build a budget that supports your goals without making you feel stuck. So let me ask you this. Have you ever looked at your bank account and thought, I make good money, so why doesn't it feel like it? That was me. I was making good money as a nurse, but somehow I wasn't building anything with it. I wasn't drowning in debt. I wasn't behind my bills, but I also wasn't getting ahead. Paycheck after paycheck, the money came and it went. And I wasn't reckless. Like I'm not out here buying designer bags, which a lot of people feel like if I'm not doing those things, why don't I feel like I have money? But what I lacked was intention. If I wanted something, I just bought it. If friends invited me out, I said yes. And while I wasn't struggling, per se, I also wasn't growing. And then one day I had a moment. And I looked at my finances and thought, wait, I've been working all these years, but what do I actually have to show for it? And that's when I realized if I kept going like this, I'd always feel like I was working just to get by, no matter how much I made. So I decided to start budgeting. And here's the thing, I've never felt restricted by my budget. What I did realize though, that was before budgeting, I was just going through the motions with my money, spending without a real plan. Once I started budgeting, I could see where my money was going. And more importantly, I could decide where I wanted it to go. So instead of wondering where the paycheck disappeared to, I knew exactly how I was using it to build the life that I wanted. And the best part, I didn't have to give up the things I enjoyed. My budget was more about making sure that my money was going towards things that actually mattered to me. And that's why I love this hack and why I wanted to share it with you. Because once you stop seeing a budget as something that limits you and start seeing it as a tool for freedom, everything shifts. So how do we make this work for you? Here's the thing I've learned. There are some keys to building good money habits that doesn't have you feeling like you're on a diet. One is naming your budget whatever makes you empowered. So some people hear the word budget and they immediately tense up. If that's you, the word itself is causing a block, call it something else. So I already mentioned some names before. Some other options are calling it your freedom plan, your money flow, your spending map. Call it whatever you need to make you feel in control instead of restricted. For me, I'm fine with the word budget. I love calling it that. It just reminds me that I have a system in place that supports my goals. But you get to choose a name that makes you excited to use it. Second thing, start with awareness. Then you adjust. If you don't know where your money's going, it's going to be impossible to make intentional choices. Before you change anything, just start by watching. Maybe for 1 month you track your spending. No judgment, no guilt, just awareness. What do you actually spend money on? What patterns do you notice? Do you tend to overspend when you're stressed? Do you buy things just because they're on sale? Once you see where your money is going, you can decide what actually matters to you and what doesn't. And that's when you start adjusting, not just by cutting out things out because someone on the internet said you should, but by choosing to prioritize what's most important to you. Thirdly, make it easy to follow. The best budget isn't about creating a elaborate spreadsheet. It's about just creating a plan that you can actually keep. Some people love detailed categories and tracking every penny. And if that's you, great. But for most people, that level of detail just feels overwhelming. So instead, keep it simple. Think of your budget in broad categories that fit your life. Some people like a 3-bucket approach, like essentials, fun, future. Others prefer percentages, like a version of 50-30-20, but with numbers that actually match you, right? So with that awareness piece that you now have, you can, instead of trying to stuff your life into the 50-30-20, you can create percentages that match your life. The key is that you get to decide how to break it down. So for me, my budget is divided into 4 simple categories. Got housing for all my basic living expenses, and also anything like house repairs, house maintenance, that kind of thing. I have spending. So that's my day-to-day fun money and personal spending. I have short-term savings, which is sinking funds for things I know I'll need, like car repairs, vacations. And then I have my long-term savings, which includes investing in retirement savings. So this setup works for me because it covers my essentials, allows me to enjoy life now, and make sure that I'm saving both for my short-term needs and my long-term wealth. So if you're starting from scratch, use these as inspiration and tweak them to fit your own life. Create your own categories. Fourth, give yourself permission to spend on joy. See, a budget isn't about saying no all the time, but instead it's more about saying yes to the things that actually matter. Because if you don't make space for joy, you'll eventually rebel against your own plan. And that's why I always build guilt-free spending into the plans I create for my clients. We work together to make sure that their budget covers all the essentials and includes space for things that bring them happiness. And that could be weekend brunch, travel, treating themselves to something special. Because if your budget doesn't reflect what you actually enjoy, you're never going to stick with it. The key is intentionality. So instead of spending impulsively and feeling bad about it later, you set money aside on purpose for the things you love. That way, you get to enjoy guilt-free spending and still make progress towards your financial goals. So, if you ever felt that a budget would take away all your fun, I want you to flip that mindset. This instead is a permission slip for the life you actually want. So now, even with the best of intentions, we all hit roadblocks. So let's talk through some of the most common ones and how to move past them so you can actually stick with your budget. So if one of the things that gets in your way is that you don't feel like tracking every dollar. I hear this all the time and I get it because I'm not into it either. But the good news is you don't have to do it forever. At the beginning, tracking is very important because it shows you exactly where your money is going, which helps you build a budget that actually works for you instead of just guessing. Once you've established a spending pattern, though, that aligns with your goals, you can loosen the reins a bit. So instead of tracking every single expense, you can shift to regular check-ins, either weekly or every 2 weeks, to make sure that you're staying on track. You can also use an app like Monarch Money to quickly see your overall spending categories at a glance without manually tracking every purchase. It does the heavy lifting for you. What if you feel guilty spending your money? A good budget actually gives you the freedom to spend on the things you love guilt-free. So if you ever felt guilty about spending money on a nice dinner, a weekend trip, or even something small like getting your nails done, here's the key. Plan for it. So when you intentionally set aside money for the fun things, you can enjoy them without the stress. It's the difference between impulse buying a $200 concert ticket and panicking later, wondering how you're going to pay for it, versus knowing you've already saved for it. One feels hecka chaotic and the other feels empowering. When you plan for it, you're not wasting money. You're just using it in a way that aligns with what matters to you. Next, maybe you keep forgetting to check your budget. So obviously a budget only works like any tool if you actually use it. But if you're constantly forgetting to check in, there's an easy fix. Once you've set onto a plan that works for you, set a recurring money check-in with each paycheck. Make it a part of your routine, just like paying bills or setting up automatic savings. It doesn't have to take long, just 10 to 15 minutes to review your spending and make sure you're still on track. In James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, he refers to something commonly referred to as habit stacking. If there's a habit you already have that you can attach this new habit to, it'll be a whole lot easier to maintain. This regular check-in will help keep you accountable without feeling like you're constantly managing every cent. The more that you make it part of your normal routine, the easier it becomes to stick with your plan. And what if you used the budget, but then you fell off? The key to overcoming this is commitment. So once you start to use a budget, it's so important to remain consistent. The trick is to commit to not making any financial moves without first referring to your budget. This sounds simple, but this one small action can keep you accountable. And if you find that you're still falling off track, don't hesitate to get some outside accountability. This could be a friend, a partner, or a coach, because sometimes having someone else in your corner literally makes all the difference. When you stick with it and start seeing results, whether it's saving more, spending smarter, or feeling more in control, you'll be reminded of why you started in the first place. Then the budget will become something you can't really imagine living without. So now that we covered the how-to, I want to leave you with some encouragement. Building good money habits isn't about being perfect. It's about taking small, consistent steps in the right direction. Every time you make a mindful decision about your money, you're building a foundation for a more secure future. And it's okay to stumble along the way. Missteps are a part of the learning process and are actually valuable. They'll help you refine your approach and build a more effective and sustainable budget over time. So when I first started budgeting personally, I would change my budget, it felt like every 2-3 months. But now I haven't changed mine in well over a year. So don't be hard on yourself if you feel like you missed a step or things aren't going perfect just yet. What matters is your commitment to staying on track and continuing to make progress. The effort you're putting in now will pay off in ways you can't always see in the moment, but you will see it over time. And here's what else I want you to keep in mind. These mindful decisions you're making don't just positively impact you. Those who care about you will notice the change too. They'll start seeing the value in how you manage your money, and without you saying a word, they may even start wanting to learn and apply it themselves. I've seen this firsthand in my personal life, and it's a beautiful ripple effect that spreads. Your money does not have to be a source of stress. It can be a tool that empowers you. You can take control of it and make it work for your goals, your dreams, your life. And as you move forward, give yourself grace. Celebrate the wins, big and small, and stay focused on the bigger picture. You've got this. So before we wrap up, I just want to share a little something that can help you take your money habits even further. So I have this free guide called the 3 Steps to Financial Freedom. And this guide breaks down the simple, actionable steps you can take to start building a stronger financial future today. If you're ready to take control of your money and create a budget that works for your life, you can grab this guide at ourgreenlifenj, like New Jersey, .kit.com/freedom guide, one word. The link is also available, I'm assuming, somewhere on this page or in the show notes if you're listening to the audio version. I want to thank you for your time today, and I hope you're feeling more empowered and confident in your ability to create good money habits that last. I'm rooting for you.
We hope you enjoyed this Slacker Hack of the Week. Remember, smart work beats busy work. Until next time, stay empowered, stay slacking. If you want to do a good deed of the day and help us grow the channel and bring you even more amazing content, leave us a comment, subscribe, leave us a review, do all the things. We'll see you guys next time.